Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. I love how Lee Lawler's just put us live without any reaction to kind of go, you're going to be live. So thanks for that, Lee. But it is a little weekly roundup. 2 weeks until we play Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest have just done a bit of breaking transfer news, which we'll talk about, and we'll get Beth and Liam's reaction to very, very shortly, which is very, very fascinating as well. But it is a weekly roundup of everything that's going on. We're going to be talking Matt Ritchie, Dwight Gale. We're going to be talking Jack Harrison. We're going to be talking Benfica and Burnley. And we might even throw some other transfer names into the mix as well. And we've got a charity game on Sunday, so please donate to that. It is on Newcastle Fans TV's Twitter, Facebook page, on my profile, on Liam's, on Beth's. We've all been banging the drums, so make sure you donate. We play the Magpie channel on Sunday. But first things first, it's a good evening to you both, Beth and Liam. Beth, let's talk about Matt Ritchie. He looks like he wants to go back down south because it's more for family reasons, but we kind of have this every single year. Can you see it materialising? If I can even get any words out.
I think usually you're just like, oh, here we go again. But I think this one just seems a little bit more solid and a little bit more likely to happen because obviously he's not really in and around the team. He won't really be playing. He's more pushed out now than he ever has been. So I could see him moving away now because obviously he's getting on. He's nearly 33. So I can see him wanting to go somewhere where he's going to be playing the last couple of years basically of his professional career. So I think it's more likely to happen now than it ever has been before.
I think Beth makes a really good point, that Liam, because he is 33. He's not a spring chicken, but is he even going to play this season? Is he going to get much game time at all, Liam?
I don't think so, really. I think you're seeing when he was playing last season, he lost his legs slightly and he started slowing down. So in a quick league like the Premier League, it's not what you need.
No, definitely not. And Eddie Howe has spoken about that. I think Lee just had the graphic on before about Eddie Howe's intentions. His intention is to try and keep him, but it's well documented that he has been away from his family for a long period of time. He loves playing for Newcastle. I think everybody knows that he loves playing for Newcastle. He's very passionate about the club, but I think it's unclear what direction we'll take. Do you think, Beth, it'll be a joint decision between Matt Ritchie and the club, and maybe a little bit of Eddie Howe in the mixture of that? Because you can tell he loves playing for Newcastle. The amount of corner flags he's kicked in, passion over the years, I think just shows that. So do you think it's going to be a decision that's going to be best for both parties? And ultimately, it looks like it's going to be that Matt Ritchie's going to be out the door, isn't it?
Yeah, I think obviously he's got a really close relationship with Eddie Howe anyway, so they'll have been discussing it anyway, wouldn't they? But he seems really, really professional. So I think no matter what is going on, whether he wants to stay or go, he's going to be openly discussing it with all of the right people, really. So I think it will be a joint decision. But I think no matter what happens, it's not the worst case scenario if he stays for us, because he's a great character to have around, but he won't be playing. So for him, in his career in the last couple of years, it would be better for him if he did move away.
Yeah, Bournemouth obviously have always been credited with an interest. It is close to where his family lives. I remember Sam getting that surprise, if you remember, in lockdown, where he gets to interview Matt Ritchie. I keep that very, very quiet back in the day. And I think he lives in a place called the New Forest, which I don't know where exactly that is, but I'm 99.9% sure it ain't anywhere near Newcastle. So it looks like he wants to go back down south. He is a Portsmouth fan, believe it or not. So Portsmouth have been credited with the slightest of interest, but financially wise, I don't think Portsmouth can actually do any sort of deal unless Matt Ritchie takes a dramatic pay cut. But Bournemouth just been promoted, Liam. Do you think if Matt Ritchie was to go to Bournemouth, he could, still do a job for a side that would be happy with 17th? Let's be honest.
Not really. I think he's now moved towards a championship level sort of player. But to be fair, Bournemouth haven't really signed anybody of this or anyone of note, so it's just going to be interesting. I think he would go championship, or like you said, he might even just take a massive pay cut and go back to Portsmouth. So I think he was there when he was younger. I think.
Yeah, he was, and I think he was giving some Southampton fans some jip as well. I think when they were playing down at St Mary's, I think a couple of the fans must have knew he was a Portsmouth fan or something along those lines. But What is your favourite Matt Ritchie moment, Beth? Because there's been so many memories for the last 5 or 6 seasons since he's been at Newcastle, since he signed in 2016 and the Rafa Benitez. It was actually 6 years that he's been at Newcastle. And in that first couple of seasons, I'm saying the first 3.5 years at Newcastle, you know, you can see the stats in front of you that, you know, he's been so instrumental to Newcastle, you know, consolidating a Premier League place and playing a huge part in the Championship season. I think he was voted Player of the Year that year.
Yeah. I think obviously that Championship season was just like crazy, wasn't it? Like the goals he was scoring, the assists and everything. Like that's when we all fell in love with Matt Ritchie, because it was just like crazy. But I think like my favourite moments with Matt Ritchie is just when he slaps people. Like,
That's what's going to be mine.
you know, just like you can see the pure passion, and he just loves it so much, and he just starts smacking people. But I think my favourite ever smack is when he like smacked man Bradford, and man just looks like he just stops breathing for a second. I think that like they're definitely up there every time he smacks someone.
100%. We'll miss those moments if that does materialise. Another player that seems to be heading out. Tell all the boys you know. Dwight Gale seems to be going to Stoke. Not the chant that I think we'll be hearing at St James's Park, but obviously the Chronicle I'm putting on the screen now. Dwight Gale won't get deserved farewell as Newcastle United exit finally arrives. As you can see, shushing the Elland Road faithful. I was there that day. It was absolutely brilliant to see thousands and thousands of Leeds fans being very, very quiet after Rob Green decided to drop the ball on the line. But in all seriousness, Liam, Dwight Gale hasn't played a lot of football for Newcastle in the last 3-4 years. It's a deal that could have been done a long time ago. But in terms of what he's given Newcastle, he's just got on with it. You know, he's been very, very professional. But this is the right move for all parties.
Yeah, like you're saying, he hasn't played properly for 3-4 years, so it could have been a move that could have happened 2 years ago. Didn't we not give him a new contract like 2 years ago? So I think that's when Wanda Bruce and were planning for the Championship, and it just seemed like it would be weird signing then. But now we've got the money. I think it's the right time to push on, and I think Gale probably wants to play a lot more football than he has over the last couple of years. Because I think that's his stats there. That he's played started 8 times.
And that was 8 appearances, obviously, last season, but I think they must have all came from the bench. I can't remember him starting a game at all for Newcastle. Tell us in the comments if he did start a game. I know he got a fantastic reception in the Arsenal game when he came on late on. But, you know, it's one of those things. It's a deal that just needs to be done, Beth, doesn't it? And it looks like it's going to be Stoke City as well. Free transfer, even though he's got a couple of years left on his contract, which is quite surprising. I thought Newcastle might have been able to get something for him. But it's essentially he's been paid off really to go. He's, you know, just get yourself away, free transfer. You know, wages wise, it's obviously going to be interesting to see how much Stoke are paying him. But it was a deal that just came out of nowhere. I think obviously Watford, Middlesbrough credited with an interest, Birmingham City as well. But Stoke wasn't really one that you go, oh, he's going to Stoke, is he? It was just kind of very, very quick. I think it was John Percy from the Telegraph that reported that first.
I don't think I'm going to enjoy seeing him in like red and white stripes, you know, because he's one of them players you don't like hate him, like, because no matter, like, he knows that he's not going to play, but he always looks in shape, like he's ready for it. He's stayed professional. Like, we've never had a problem with Dwight Gale really, and when we've relied on him, he's never like really been like disappointing. Like, obviously in the Championship as well, he was incredible. So I hope he goes on and he has like a really good rest of his career. Not that it'll be that long, but and he's a very good quality striker for the Championship. So
yeah, 100%. I think he'll do really well in the Championship. I think that really will be his level. Let's be honest, it is right now, and he'll get 15 goals minimum easily, in my opinion. But be interesting to see how Dwight Gale gets on. Looks like it's very, very close. I think it could even be announced tonight, as what several media outlets are reporting, that it could be confirmed as early as this evening. But let's talk about incomings and potential incomings. Jack Harrison, Leeds United. Now Leeds have got rid of Rafinha. They've got rid of Calvin Phillips. Why would they get rid of Jack Harrison? Well, I love this analogy that I've seen on Twitter. Leeds are saying, why would you sell Jack Harrison? Or why would Leeds saying that Jack Harrison's not for sale, but would take 35 million? And some guy said, well, I'm not going to sell my house, but if someone puts in £100,000 more on the asking price, I'm probably going to sell the house. But Jack Harrison, £35 million. Beth, I'll get your opinion on this first. Is he the sort of player that Newcastle should be going for, as in Premier League proven? He's an attacking player that we need. But is the price that's putting people off this sort of deal? Because I think 35 million is a lot of money for Jack Harrison. Do you think he's worth that?
I just think it's really hard right now to say what someone's worth and if you can justify it, because the market is just like insane. And then like, I think when you like compare him with what we've paid for Chris Wood, it's not that bad. Like, it doesn't seem that crazy money type deal when you compare it to Chris Wood, the age of Chris Wood. And you also like, you've got to bear in mind, like, he's coming from Leeds. Leeds and Newcastle hate each other, so the price goes up a little bit. Newcastle tax, the price goes up a little bit. He's English, so the price goes up a little bit more. Like, I think like the market right now is just crazy. Like, I don't really know how you work out how much a player is actually worth at this point anymore. It's just like random amounts just get thrown around and people are like, oh god. So I do think though, like, that is a position like we've seen in the friendlies, like, we're so weak and we do need somebody there, but I don't know. It's just like, I don't know if he's like that guy that we need. He is an improvement on Murphy, but I don't know if it's like worth that amount of money for his quality, but I don't know.
It's going to be interesting, I think, because Newcastle, I'm not going to use the word desperate to get transfers. So I think they've been very smart and strategic, and I'm sure Dan Ashworth, Steve Nixon have a plan. But Liam, do you think that Newcastle United are getting frustrated with potential incomings? Because it's been a couple of weeks since Sven Botman came, and actually seems like a long time ago since Sven Botman came. I think he was the last signing. And Newcastle want probably two more players. They want an attacking winger and they want a striker. Brozier, we don't know what's happening with that. He looked like he was going to go to West Ham. That doesn't seem to be happening at the minute. Do you think that Newcastle's frustration is leading them to looking at other players that might be costing a bit more?
Yeah, I think the hierarchy obviously frustrated because every time we bid for a player, they're like, it's those, say if his value was 30 million, a bit, oh well, because you're Newcastle, you can add an extra 20 million on top of that. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's just like, I think it's sometimes the long game, because I think you've seen with Botman, I think we've got 10 million less than what actually initially offered for, and then Ekatike, I know he didn't come to Newcastle, but then he went to PSG for like 10 million less. So I think it's just sometimes just playing the long game and trying to get the player to go in the clubs here to say, I want to leave. I didn't want to be here anymore. I want to go. This like amazing project. So I think the club is getting frustrated, but I think they shouldn't just go out and buy players that they think that are affordable. They need to buy players that I think will actually make a difference. And just before I finish, I think we're on about 30 likes at the moment. So if you could like the video, because I think we've got 109 people in here, so make sure you like the video.
He's doing my job for me. Go on, like the video. Also, we've got the memberships as well. Connor has just become a member, and it's the perfect time to become a member with the season being so close as well. As you can see on the top left-hand side of the screen, 99 pence. 99 pence doesn't, I don't even buy you a Mars bar these days. You're getting everything. So if you do have a little bit of money spare aside, do consider the membership option. I think it's really interesting that Newcastle tax has been branded around a little bit, Beth, and I think you can tell that fans on Twitter are kind of going, oh, it's all because of this Newcastle tax that Newcastle can't get players, and Moussa Diaby, 65 million euros, Newcastle tax, it would have cost another club 40 million pounds. Do you think Newcastle fans just need to kind of calm it down a little bit and think, just let's trust the guys on making sure that they get the right people in? Because you've seen since January, it's not been too bad. We've got some good players in, and we've seen improved results.
Yeah, I think like obviously prices are just going to go up, aren't they? Like, it's just a natural thing that's going to happen. We're just going to have to accept it. But like, we can't be like kicking off because we're still bringing in quality players. Like, look at what we paid for Bruno, and he's absolutely brilliant. Like, he's like a top class footballer, and he didn't cost like crazy amounts of money. And we can still bring in that quality. It's just about getting the right deal. So like, when these fans are just like expecting people to pay over the top prices for players that might not even come in and make that much of a difference. It's just like, you've got to just like calm down a little bit, haven't you? You've got to be realistic.
No one knew who Bruno was until we signed him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be one of them seasons where we just sign players that no one's heard. Well, people probably have heard of them like worldwide, but like in Newcastle, like, and we'll just get like a random signing for like 30 million that is in a French league or the German league, and he'll just tear it apart like Bruno has. And I think that's probably the way it's going to be. Or we'll just play Elliot Anderson up front.
Yeah, we'll talk about Elliot Anderson very, very shortly as well. We'll go talk about pre-season. I want to continue the transfer feed for another few minutes. I've just seen something on Twitter now. I don't know how true this is. So anybody in the comments, tell me if I'm wrong, if this has been reported wrong. Memphis Depay apparently is available for 25 million euros or 25 million pounds. I don't know exactly what the right fee was. If he has the right attitude, I think attitude is really, really important, because you hear Donny van de Beek, Dele Alli, players who Newcastle were interested in January, and they didn't go them for certain reasons. It might have been one of those reasons potentially. Do you think, in your opinion, Liam, if Memphis Depay is available for 25 million pounds or 25 million euros, whatever it is, Newcastle United might have themselves an absolute bargain if they could pull this off? I know it's difficult because we're not playing European football, but if you could sell Newcastle United to someone like him, I know it's a bit unrealistic, but it's not as much unrealistic as if it was 12 months earlier, because we do have the finance to potentially attract these sort of players now. Do you think I'm talking crazy, or do you think it could potentially happen if Newcastle were to look down that line?
No, I think he is the sort of player I would like sort of need to be looking at, because realistically, Barcelona probably only signed him because they needed a striker. But I think it all, like you said, it all comes down to attitude. And I think he did struggle with his attitudes, I think, from what I'm aware, when he was at Manchester United. So I think if he's got the right attitude and the right mentality, then go for it. Do you know what I mean? Sign him for 25 million, because I think he got 12 goals in the league, and I think his record actually wasn't that bad when he was at Man U, because that's when they were going through the even poorest phase of what they are through now. But I think he's the sort of player we need to go through, where he's like a big name player, and then. But yeah, that's I would go from, like, if he's for 25 million or 25 million euros, do you know what I mean? That's like 22 million pounds to go from. Why not?
What about you, Beth? Do you think I'm talking crazy? Do you think it might be sensible, or what's your opinion on it?
I really enjoy watching him. Like, on his day, he's such an exciting footballer, isn't he? Like, and he is that kind of player that Newcastle fans, if he was coming with the right attitude, everyone would adore him. Like, everyone would love him so much. And like, if his attitude has sorted itself out since he was at Manchester, because that was just terrible, I think he'd be like perfect. He'd be a dream signing, really, wouldn't he? For like that price, like the quality he can bring, and the end product. If he could bring that, everyone would love him so much, and it would be a very good bit of business, especially when you compare it to the price of Jack Harrison. Like, it would be a good bit of business.
Yeah, last one on transfers. This one just does not go away, and it's Arsenal linked with them, Newcastle linked with them. Lyon have dropped their price. Lyon have decided no, he's not dropping their price. We've already seen him on the key side with Bruno, and that is, of course, Lucas Paqueta. Now, I think everybody wants to see Lucas Paqueta at Newcastle just for the romantic thing of seeing Bruno, Paqueta, and Joelinton, the Brazilian midfield, X, Y, and Z. It's not going away, is one. No one's made a bid from two, which is a bit strange considering there is apparent strong interest and apparently he wants to leave. I don't know that for sure. It's obviously just reports. Believe who you want to believe in. But Liam, the romantic side of me would love to see Paqueta in a Newcastle shirt and just see how well he does, even if it's just for one game, and just go, this is what he would bring to Newcastle. But for, let's say, 34, 35 million pounds, is it what Newcastle need right now? And do you think Newcastle, if they don't do this business now and say Arsenal do pick them up, say Newcastle do really well, they might have to pay double the amount just to get them off an Arsenal, for example?
Yeah, I would take them personally. Even if it was just to keep Bruno happy, just chuck 35 million just to keep Bruno happy, to be fair. Like, but I think we've got the stats here. I think he played 35 times, scored 9 goals and got 9 assists. scored 9 goals and got 6 assists. Sorry, and I think that was from attacker midfielder. So it's sort of what we've missed is what we've missed until Bruno, who doesn't score many goals, that's scored loads of goals. The sort of player that we need is a goal scorer midfielder. Which, if we get 2 goal scorer midfielders, you know what I mean, that'll be bang on target. But I would take him any day of the week.
I would just love to see him with Bruno. Could you imagine just the video when Bruno sees him for the first time on NUFC TV, Beth? It'll just be picture perfect, wouldn't it? It'd be just like that 2 or 3 seconds. Everyone will have that as their Twitter, video, like pinned tweet for ages, won't they?
I don't care if he's what we need. He's what we want. We just love him so much already. We don't even know him really. Like, no one's really watched him play. We've just watched these little 30-second clips of him and Bruno doing dance routines, and we're all like, right, he's going to fix all of our problems, no matter the price. Get him in right now. But I think I was watching Brazil games and stuff when we first signed Bruno, and Bruno came on, and there was 30 seconds, and the way him and Paqueta link up is just beautiful. It is just wonderful, and it's the type of football that we all love here. It's so exciting. And obviously, he likes the quayside, doesn't he? So I don't see a reason to not sign him.
I would hate the quayside. That's what I'm like. I've had plenty of good nights on the quayside. You can't hate the quayside.
Expensive night.
You work. I'm not going to say who you work for, but you get a good wage, Mr. Kerr. You get a very good wage.
But I'm going to win the pay on 2 honeymoons, so I don't get that good.
2 honeymoons. 2 honeymoons. What are you doing? One in North Shields, one in Barbados or somewhere.
One's British Bay Caravan Park, and one.
I bet it is. Knowing you, I bet it is as well. Class. The reception at the fire station for anyone that lives around the area. Anyway, let's move on quickly. This caused a lot of debate. We're going into pre-season, and the couple of games that Newcastle have got, one definitely being confirmed. Benfica on Tuesday, the 26th of July. The second game, which is going to be before, on the Saturday, hasn't been confirmed. Burnley behind closed doors on Saturday has been heavily rumoured. Burnley obviously start their season a week tomorrow in the Championship. They start a week earlier. They're actually a live game, so just over a week until English football's back, if you want to call it that. But Jamal Lascelles, right. There was a lot of debate, heated debate and big titles about him being club captain next season. Eddie Howe confirmed it to the press that went down to Austria last week. Beth, is it the right decision to keep Jamal Lascelles club captain while he's still at the club, regardless of his guaranteed playing time?
I just right now, with the bunch of players we have, with all of the natural leaders we have in that team, I don't see the massive upset that people are causing with Jamal Lascelles. He's not going to be playing, so he's not even going to be on the pitch having the armband on. And even if he was on the pitch with the armband on, we know that Kieran Trippier is going to be still doing his thing. We've got so many leaders now within the starting 11 who, no matter who's got the armband on, they're all going to be demanding certain levels from the players. They're all going to be bossing them around. They're going to be in that captain role with that captain mentality. So it doesn't really matter who's actually got the armband. It doesn't matter who's going in at halftime shouting. Because do you really think that because Jamal Lascelles might have an armband on, Kieran Trippier is going to then go in at halftime if we're losing and just sit there silently? He's going to go in and he's still going to have his 10 pence worth, isn't he? He's going to tell the team where they're going wrong. So I just think it's being made out to be a bigger deal than it actually is. And you've got to remember, the reasons Jamal Lascelles got the captain's armband in the first time, he knew what was going on at the time, and he had the balls to step up when he was so young and say something about it. So, even if his ability is not as good on the pitch as other people's, the mentality is there. He knows, he understands what's going on wrong, and he's still a natural leader himself. So I just don't understand the big deal.
I'm with you, Beth, on that, and I'll kind of explain my thoughts on this, but I want to get Liam's opinion. Liam, let's play devil's advocate, for example. Let's just say that you're on the other side of the fence. Should Kieran Trippier be captain? Should Dan Burn be up there for captaincy? Should Callum Wilson, John Joe Shelley? They're going to play every week in, week out, aren't they?
Yeah, the thing with me with Kieran Trippier and Dan Burn is they've only been here 6 months, and I think it would be wrong to give someone the captain's armband that's barely played for the club. Obviously, I know they've both made massive impacts, but I think if we did take it off Jamal Lascelles, I think it should be someone that's been at the club for a couple of years, like Callum Wilson, if it did happen, or maybe not John Joe Shelby, but someone else, like maybe even Joe Linton. Do you know what I mean? Because his performance on his performance on the pitch has massively improved. You don't need necessarily someone to go kicking and screaming. You need someone maybe to just show people by example. But I don't think Trippier or Dan Burn should get it at any point. Maybe in a couple of years, but but then we'll hopefully have Lascelles out the door. And Kieran Trippier was 33, so he might be a bit too far on. I just don't think it's the right time to change the captaincy armband. I think it would just cause like the boat to rock.
100%. I think it's unnecessary. I really do. I don't see any value, and I understand that the argument of Jamal Lascelles isn't going to play week in, week out, but you'll have a different captain, and arguably it's going to be Kieran Trippier. He has the most experience. He's played top flight football at the highest level. Let's be honest. Atletico Madrid, La Liga winners, always in the Champions League, doing very, very well. He's obviously done very well at Spurs as well. So I think Kieran Trippier will be the natural successor, potentially, if Jamal Lascelles was to be sold. I don't see it happening because he's on such good wages at Newcastle United, and he's on a long contract, so it's going to cost a lot of money. I don't see it happening this transfer window. But in an ideal world, Beth, in your opinion, who should be captain this season?
I'm going to upset Liam here, and I would say John Joe Shelby.
Oh, why? Why?
I just think, like, if you're saying, like, oh, it shouldn't be Trippier yet because he hasn't been here long enough, then you've got to look at the position the club were in when John Joe Shelby came. The way he's just stayed this whole time, no matter how high or low his career has been. He's always in shape. And right now, in my opinion, he's in the best shape of his career. Like, in these friendlies, he looks better than he's ever looked. Like, in terms of his physicality, like, he's really doing great. And, like, he comes out all the time and he'll, like, speak to the press. And he's just, like, he's a professional, isn't he? Like, he's just great. I just really like John Joe Shelby. I've always really liked John Joe Shelby.
I have to be honest, I've always been a fan of John Joe Shelby. I think he gives Newcastle something that we don't have. We didn't have for a lot of years. You could argue Bruno potentially. Ian Beth she's getting nice comments. She's getting great comments. And people love her opinion on John Joe Shelby as well. But going back onto John Joe Shelby's ability, I agree. I think he should be captain? Sorry, not for me. I would give it to Kieran Trippier today. I think Kieran Trippier would be my captain if it was in an ideal world. But to not upset the boat, I'd keep Jamal Lascelles as club captain regardless if he's going to play or not. But going back onto John Joe Shelby, when Newcastle have been poor and not had much investment, you need him in the team. When he's not in the team, he stands out like a sore thumb when he's back playing for Newcastle. We just don't have that creativity. Now we do have a little bit more to play with. We've seen Bruno. Joe Linton just seems to be a completely transformed. It is incredible. And obviously Lee's putting on their new 40% win rate when Shelby plays as well. So it just shows the importance of John Joe Shelby when he does play for Newcastle United. And I think if Newcastle don't make any more transfers, again, the game against Nottingham Forest, it looks like it's going to be, in my opinion, I could be wrong, tell us if I'm wrong in the comments, Shelby, Joe Linton and Bruno. I think that will be the three. Sean Longstaff's obviously done well in the last couple of games, but I think Shelby will get past to Sean Longstaff as well. But it is going to be really, really fascinating. But Newcastle looks like they're definitely going to play Benfica, playing Burnley probably as well. 2 games in another hot country in Lisbon. It's a lovely part of the world, really is the real stadium of light for our northeast viewers as well. Luke, you're not Luke, you're called Liam. Liam, Lisbon, is it a good idea to play one game at least or 2 games?
I think it's just all about fitness now, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Getting them ready. And I think you're only really going to see the goal. What might happen is one goalkeeper might play one game and the other goalkeeper might play there, but you're going to see at half time there's going to be 10 subs, no matter who's having a worldie or not. I think it's just all about getting the match fitness, and I think they're both quite strong teams. Obviously, Benfica's Champions League, and obviously Burnley went down, but they're still a hard team to dominate. And obviously they've got Vincent Kompany as the manager, so they might get loads of City young'uns. But I think it's the right call. And then we've got 2 games, I think, the following week. So I think it's all in the interest of the players. You'd rather have the players super fit than lagging behind like we did when we under Steve Bruce when they were like 10 stone heavier than what they should be.
Not wrong being 10 stone heavier, Liam. Not wrong. But Beth, it seems like it's going to be before that Forest game 4 pre-season games. That's quite a lot considering we kick off our season in 16 days' time. That's almost like what Man City, Liverpool do on a weekly basis. Playing that amount of games in little time. Is it too much?
No, because when you actually think about it, it might seem too much to us because we're like used to us playing like 2, max 3 games in a preseason against really low level teams. But these people are like professional athletes. Like they need this like to stay in shape, really. Like, so I don't think it's too much, and I think it's ideal, really. When you think about it as well, the start of the season, there's more fixtures squished in because obviously the World Cup in December, so they might be playing like 2 games a week. So I think it's perfect, really, to get them matched.
I love that. Yeah, definitely. I love what you say about how they actually are athletes. I think people forget that, and I say who are going to be athletes. Newcastle Fans TV will be athletes on Sunday when we play the Magpie channel, and you can't watch it. We'll have a highlight package at the very least. It might be live. I haven't made a decision on that yet. But if you want to come along, it's at Newcastle United Foundation HQ, which is 2 minutes away from St James's Park. If you cross the road from where the old Alan Shearer statue used to live and literally walk all the way up, you can't miss it. Big block capitals. That's where it's going to be taking place. If you want to donate it, the link will be also on our Twitter pages, on our Facebook pages. Everyone's sharing it. So please, if you can, that'd be brilliant. I do think that it's a really good point as well that Beth brings up, Liam, the fact that we are going to play a lot more games when there's a World Cup on the horizon. I think we're playing 5 or 6, maybe it might even be 7 games before the first international break itself, and a League Cup game potentially. Well, a League Cup game for sure, of course, second round. So that is a lot of games. So I suppose they are going to have to get used to the pace of playing 2 games a week, really.
Yeah, well, I think it's just obviously getting ready for when we win the Champions League next season. But speaking about the international break, I know this is going a bit off topic, but I didn't understand the point of where like England playing in that Euro, the tournament that just happened in the summer just gone, and then we're having this international break where it's just 2 friendlies. It would be easier if we just played all the way through till like a couple of weeks before the World Cup, but a bit off tangent. But yeah, I think we sort of just need to get used to playing 2 games a week because it's going to happen eventually, and we'll probably see a lot more rotated sides because I don't know, compared to what it is now, or compared to what a normal season is, obviously we've had to cram them in on either side. So I think Eddie Howe's just making sure that everyone's match fit, and obviously they'll have all the sports scientists behind it monitoring every single player. So it's not like he's just blindly telling the team to go and play 4 matches in 16 days.
Yeah, I would say it's going to be absolutely interesting to see how Newcastle use their players before these different games as well. I don't think anyone's going to get more than 60, 65 minutes. But a comment say, I know who this lad is as well, James Parker. I'll give you a shout out. Thanks very much for that, James, for tenner for the charity match. He's a nice kid. If you ever see him around the Silverlink, make sure you say hi. He's a nice lad. He always say hello to you as well. But yeah, going back on to those games as well. 60, 65 minutes in that heat as well, especially in Lisbon. I know Newcastle was like 35, 36 degrees, which I know you would have absolutely loved, Liam. But Beth, I know they're like athletes. I get that, but I just think an hour in that heat or 70 minutes in that heat when, let's be honest, Newcastle doesn't really go above 20 apart from the last Monday and Tuesday. It's going to be difficult for them regardless.
Yeah, but I think like that's like a good challenge, isn't it, really? Like the heat, and as well, like we've got to look now, and it's not just the games, like the training is a lot more intense and they're doing more than one session a day for longer hours. And then they're like in their time off now, instead of just like chilling, they're going on these like team bike rides and like, it's crazy, like watching them now in pre-season, like the shape they're in compared to last year when they're stepping off the little minibus and like they don't even look like they can jog. And now you like watch them sprint around in like crazy temperatures and you're just like, who are these people? I just think it's great now. I think you can only be positive about it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And obviously the 2 home games at the end of next week, and then obviously the Premier League does happen. It's going to be very, very interesting as well with how Newcastle cope with that. I can see that as well. Bren, awful. That is absolutely awful, Bren. Come on. Get it right next time. Get it right. Yeah, Nottingham Forest. We're going to mention Nottingham Forest as well because there's been some breaking news in the last hour or so. Jesse Lingard, heavily linked with Newcastle. I think Manchester United wants something ridiculous, a £10 million loan fee for Jesse Lingard, but he's just signed a 1-year deal at Nottingham Forest. He'll make his debut against Newcastle at St James's Park. He's reportedly signed for Nottingham Forest for £200,000 a week. That is £50,000 a week more than what West Ham offered him, apparently, according to sources or according to people in the know. And that is absolutely phenomenal news for Nottingham Forest. If I was a Nottingham Forest fan, forget about £200,000 a week. I think that's a really, really good signing. But I think, let's be honest, Liam, has he gone for the money instead of looking at what probably is best for his career?
Well, I think definitely. I do think I would go for the money if it was an extra 50 grand a week, like. But it's just a bit of a strange one for me because are West Ham in Europe next season? I think they are.
Conference League.
Yeah, Conference League. So you could have got Europe with them, but then he's now going to go into a relegation scrap, which he probably hasn't really been in before in his life. And I don't think he's that good of a player where he's going to be scoring 15, 16 goals a season where like Nottingham Forest are going to need it. So I think he's literally just went for the money, and I don't think he's actually going to play against it as the first game of the season because I don't think he'll be match fit.
Be interesting to see. There's a bit of a good point, I suppose. 2 weeks away, how fit has he kept himself? Has he, done all those pre-season stuff? Has he joined? Maybe gone back to Manchester United just to keep himself fit? And you've seen some people go to former clubs just to do that. But Beth, have Newcastle dodged a bullet? Do you think maybe he wasn't the right character after all? Maybe if he only wanted to come for the money, Newcastle have done well to stay well clear in the end.
Yeah, I think like you can't even question if it's for the money when he's gone for an extra 50k a week at Nottingham Forest when he could have been playing at West Ham where like they're going to stay up, aren't they? Like they're going to stay up. They're going to be battling teams week in, week out. Like who knows how far they're going to be up the table. There's higher quality players around him, better facilities, better manager. And then he's going to go to Nottingham Forest for 50k extra to try and stay in the league. And when you think about it as well, like the wage that he's on, like he's a decent player if he stayed in shape and if he's going to be producing to the level that he was at West Ham when he was there. But if he's not, like that's ridiculous amount of money to spend on a player who might not even give you the results that you're hoping that he's going to give you. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, 1 year deal. 1 year deal. Where will Jesse Lingard end up? Will he still be a Premier League player at the end of the summer? That would be interesting. And will he get into the World Cup squad? Because that would be just as fascinating as well. If he does well at Nottingham Forest, it might get him into the World Cup squad. But I would say it's unlikely at this minute in time. But it'll be interesting to see how that develops. But we are coming towards the end of the roundup. I just want to get a couple of last bits and pieces on rumours of Sesko. Beth, his agent was he was loving the Quayside. He was loving the Quayside, just like Liam would have been when he takes his missus down there eventually when she deserves it by the sound of it. But no, do you think that those sort of things hurt Newcastle fans because you're thinking, oh, there's somebody's agent on the Quayside. Oh, it's like 3 + 3 making 27. I know that's not the case, but Craig Howe kind of silenced the rumours a little bit, saying, look, Newcastle are interested, but that's as much as it is. Newcastle could be interested in any player they want, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think as like a fan base, we fall in love with someone so fast, don't we? Like, no matter what we know about them, like how old they are, no matter what they've achieved, we're just like, well, he's absolutely brilliant, isn't he? Like, someone could make up a name and tweet about it, and we're like, well, he's fantastic, isn't he? And he doesn't even exist. Like, we just want to believe that something's happening and they're just going to be brilliant. So not a single Newcastle fan can say they knew who this guy was. Maybe Steve could.
I was just about to say that.
No one knows him at all. But now we're all like his biggest fan, aren't we? We're like all looking on his Instagram and stuff, see what he's up to.
Do you know what it is? I forget, Riff. What made me laugh actually was on Twitter. I forget the person's name, so I do apologise that I'm stealing what he said. But he said after a good 9 minutes watching him on YouTube, he's definitely someone that can solve all the answers to Newcastle's attack in Paris. He will definitely get us into Europe. He's definitely the right man, only because he's a striker that Newcastle are potentially linked with, or his agents in the area. That's just Newcastle United in the summer in a nutshell so far. But it'll be really, really interesting. Let's see if Newcastle can get a striker. Mark Douglas and me and Sam interviewed not long ago, which you can see in previous videos on the Greenwood and Mulliner show, which is on YouTube as well. Amongst, if you want to listen to it, just listening to it on podcast, we'll do that as well. And he said he'd be very surprised if Newcastle don't bring a striker in before that Nottingham Forest game. But Newcastle are going to make sure they do it right. They're not going to panic. They're just going to do the things the right way. And supposedly, when you have someone like Dan Ashworth who knows how to play this sort of game, yes, it might be difficult with being Newcastle United and the investment that we do have, but he's definitely the right man to have trying to get those deals done.
Yeah, I think we just need to realise we just need to be a bit patient, or some of the fan base does, because I think I've seen a tweet the day comparing it to it was still pretty much under the Mike Ashley era, and I sort of like, you need to give your head a bit of a wobble. Do you know what I mean? I think everyone just needs to calm down. I think we just seem to have massive hissy fits after everything. Like when we got beat off Mainz during the week, people were tweeting the owner saying it's like he's terrible, and I'm just thinking. Give your head a bit of a wobble, do you know what I mean? We're in a lot better position this time last year than we were. So I think we just need to be a bit patient, and maybe it might go to the couple of days before the final, couple of days before the transfer deadline. And I think the message is just be patient. I think Mia Dad's already tweeted that out himself. They know what they're doing. They clearly, you don't become multi-billionaires if you don't know what you're doing in business. Do you know what I mean? So I think. And especially we've got Dan Ashworth now, he knows how to sign players that are just pure class. So my message is just be patient, and I know I'm going to listen, but just everyone calm themselves down before the tweet me Dad, and he just decides to leave. So
Liam calm themselves down. Has spoken. He certainly has spoken. I think this is where we're going to wrap things up this evening. Just a last big thing: charity game on Sunday. If you want to come and watch. As you can see, the links there, £268. The actual target was £250. Sky will double it up to £300, so it's going to double again. If you can help out, 3 days to go, that would be really, really appreciated. And thanks to anybody that has donated so far. We do genuinely appreciate it. And look, Magpie Channel, we're going to win, obviously. We're going to batter you. So, but if you want to come along, we'll have a little bucket on the side as well. So if you've got any spare change, I know it's obviously difficult times at the minute, cost of living crisis and all that. So if you can spare any money, that will be greatly appreciated. We'll be on Sunday, this Sunday, the 24th of July, to 2:30 kickoff. Doors pretty much open, 1:45, 2 o'clock. On the rooftop pitch at Newcastle United Foundation, 30 minutes each way against the Magpie Channel. So Renty's got on his profile as well. I think it's got on the Magpie Channel's Twitter page as well. So please give that a look if you can. But Newcastle United are very busy, very, very busy. And so the Greenwood and Mulliner show. We have a Greenwood and Mulliner show recording tomorrow. We're not going to give it away who it is, but he's been at the club a very, very long time. So that's all you're getting of us. No more, because Sam will tell us off. Okay, so no more than that. And then we'll have, if there's any reaction, if there's any game against Burnley on Saturday and it gets confirmed, we'll have a reaction of that. So please give that video a like as well. If you can give this video a like, that'd be greatly appreciated as well. But until then, from me, Beth and Liam, we'll see you all very soon.
See you later.